Thanks to Ajahn Unisa for inviting me for this lecture. And good day, everyone. Uh, Today, we're going to learn, as the Ajahn Unisa mentioned before, we're going to learn criminological theory in the terms of psychological and biological views of delinquency. So today, you might find something interesting in case you never heard something about criminological view of like psychological or biological view of delinquency before. Okay, let me start sharing the screen. All right. Can you see it? Can someone just like unmute?
Yes,
Yes. Okay,
yeah,
clear.
clear.
All right. So we will have like some deal in this class because this is my first time seeing you guys, even it's online. So I would like to ask you a favor, like if someone in this class want to answer or ask the questions, could you please like unmute your microphone and open the camera, and then I will ask your name because we have the participation score in this class as well. So if some student prefer to type, I might not see it. All right. So I think it's better if we talk, like talking, better than chatting. So that's it. Any question during the class, you can note it and ask me at the end of the class. All right, everyone, got it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. As I heard, like you are already study about the classical view of delinquency in the term of criminology theory, but today is the sub subset of the positivism school, which is I will explain about how biological and psychological views cause the crime in youth or in children. Okay. Uh, I will briefly introduce myself in the short term. I I was a police. I had been working as a police for 7 years in the protection and crowd control division. My bachelor degree is from sociology and anthropology, social research and human behavior study from Thammasat University. My master degree is from the science department, criminology and criminal justice, University of Portsmouth, United Kingdom. I also got the special certificate Introduction to Psychology from Yale University, United States of America, and my PhD was political science on criminology and criminal administration, Chulalongkorn University. Uh, let's start. Okay, as Ajahn Unisa mentioned before, you guys study about classical school of criminology. You guys study about free will theory and choice theory. I would like to know if someone like can assure like you guys understand what exactly classical criminology are. During the class, I will give you marks if you participate or answer. Okay, just short one or the long one is up to you, but at least you can like talk. We can chat. What exactly like classical criminology look like? Do they have any terms or rules about it?
It believe that people have a free will.
Yes. And what is free will?
It's believed that like delinquents like
commit their acts under like they have prepared, like they already think about it already. Kind of like feel that they have like they do whatever they think.
All right. Any more? Can you give me your number? Do you guys remember your number in order? Your number like number one, Mr. Pong Pao, Nanami, Pong Konrad. Do you guys remember your number in class? Okay. Okay, all right, found it. Rasita and Tuang Tong. Rasita, your number is 38. And I wish you could remember your number. Found it. Okay, so after, let's do like this. After you answer your question, you can type your ID number in this chat and I will give you mark later. Easier. Okay, today we're gonna start explaining about how positivist criminology look like. As you see in the slide, you see the three main rules about positive school of criminology. First, human behavior is controlled by physical, mental, and social factors, not by free will. Means even human wants to do something. He might not commit or attend that behavior by his like consent. Sometimes the other factors cause his behavioral action. Number two, criminals are different from non-criminals. We believe that criminals have something like abnormal or disabled in the brain function or the physical function that cause the crime. Number three, science can be used to discover that the causes of crime and to trace deviance. Means this era, science play the main role in this school of thought. Science plays so important role in this explanation why people commit the crime. Okay. Positivism is a research tradition that seeks to establish objective causes of individual behavior. Biological explanation of crime assume that some people are born criminals who are physiologically distinct from non-criminals. The most famous proponent of this approach is Cesar Lombroso. You might confuse with the name of Caesar, but classical school, his name is Cesar Beccaria, but positive school is Cesar Lombroso. Just remember Lombroso. All right. Okay, this conclude about the main role positive can play in the term of criminology views. And why we need to know this? Why we really want to understand the criminal behavior? Can you give me the beneficial of knowing it? Why?
So we can prevent it in the future?
Yeah, correct. What else?
So we can understand like the reasons behind it, like why they're doing it.
And after we understood, okay, go on. You.
I just wanted to say that is also the best way to like reduce crimes.
The best way to reduce crime, it's mean like.
Well, probably not the best way, but a good way to like reduce crimes if we understand it.
Yes, I agree with you. I think if we imagine the path of doing crime, if we understand the beginning, the root itself of factors before any crime happen, so we believe we will fix the future crime, or we can predict the future crime. Yes, like that. And today we're going to learn about the juvenile and delinquency. It means we start learning from the how the crime begins in children first. Because if we cannot fix the children behavior, how come we're going to fix the adult criminal? This is what we believe. That's why this subject will explain the criminal behavior that might help you to understand the reason behind it, or the factor that cause the root human behavior. Today we will separate to be two sections. First is biology and psychology. It's like two terms of delinquency. Why we need to know this? Because all the behavior is controlled by the central nervous system. Biological and psychologists seek to understand how the brain functions in order to understand behavior. We have to know the basic first. Everything we express, everything we talk, everything we do or we commit, it's from the brain at the beginning. It's not from about the hand, it's not from about the eye, the something else. It starts with here, from the brain function. So if we go through in depth to study how brain works, so we will understand exactly why it's this situation happen, why this action happens. It's gonna help a lot if we know from the beginning, very beginning of it. The major difference between the two theories, that classical school is mainly based on free will and suggests that crime as a choice, whereas positivism criminology argue that crimes is not a choice. We might not have a ability to choose to commit or to not commit the crime. It might be because of something else. It's like outside factor or inside factor. Inside factor like your brain function, your disabled ability in understanding, or your lack of learning ability. We call all these factors determinism. Determinism, it's something like make us doing something. It's not free will, it's something else. Okay, and other is multiple causes, emphasis on offender, and rehabilitation is the process in positive school that we kindly want to know why we have to fix the criminal, why we not just punish them. Because positive school believe we look at the criminal as a patient, as a illness situation. It's not like they can't help sometimes. Sometimes when they commit the crime, they doesn't want to do it. It's not their consent or their free will, but some disease or some dysfunction in the brain system might be the reason behind all the crime. That's why we want to know, and we prefer to fix them rather than punish them. As I said, the factors, it's from inside to outside. When we learn about human in depth, so we can understand more about the act of crime, we are not just talk with them. We are not just like put them in the MRI scanner to see like how brain is working, or inside your organs with which pieces cause the motivation, or anything that like trigger your behavior, violent behavior to do the crime. We will not just study just how they think, We will go in depth to understand how their biochemical system works. All right. If you see this picture, do you think how this kid's feeling? I mean, the kid who's laying down,
Humiliated.
humiliated. What else? Fun,
Fun.
Happy.
Think fun.
Yeah, fun.
fun, fun. Which one is feel fun the most? Which one?
The
Kids
two
are lying
boys in the
down.
middle.
The guy in the middle. The most funniest like feeling ever. Why? What is the reason behind your answer?
He control all of the situation.
How you answer the word control? How he react or how he act in this picture? That tell you that.
It seems
normally-
like his hands are tickling the guy who is laying down. So
Mhm.
it's kind of having the control over the kid.
Okay. What about the kid on the right hand?
Supporter.
Supporter. Do you think he feel fun?
Yes.
Yes, looking at his face, like
Yeah.
he has a smile on his face.
Okay. The smile on your face lets me know that blah blah blah. Okay. What about the smile on the left hand side kid? They are all smile the same. How different? Anyone can tell me the difference behind the same smile or laughing?
Is that related that the boy on the right is looking at the camera? Maybe he is not smiling at the boy that is laying down, but the boy in the middle, like it is clear that he is smiling because he is tickling the boy who is lying down and also smile. So like they are smile for the different things.
Yeah, okay. What about the lying down guy? He laughed like so much laughing in the picture. He feel happy?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I guess.
okay. Mostly you guys guess like he feels happy. Laughing means happy. Is it all the time that laugh means happy?
No.
I don't
No.
think so.
Okay.
I don't think he's laughing because he is happy, because I think he is laughing because he is being, tickled.
Mhm.
Is that the word?
Yeah, tickle.
So it's just like, it's like when our body is tickled, we will automatically like laughing.
Mhm.
So he's probably not happy at the moment, but he is tickled.
Okay. What if okay, go on.
Sorry, like the fact that he was also being tied like with at his wrist and at his leg,
Mhm.
so it puts him in a position that like he can't control anything, and like his body is like open for the guy in the middle to like tickle him. And
Yeah.
I think the tying doesn't like it adds more pain to it because he can control it.
Yeah. From my from my view, this picture gives me so much painful. If you try to imagine yourself in the boy who is lying down situation, I think you guys who got the same, okay. Can excuse me, can you put your microphone like closer?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. You are not mean to answer. All right. Okay. In this picture, I just want to show you the kind of difference of being tickled, being teased, being bullied, or the reason behind all the smiles from your friends, from your family, from everyone you ever know in your life. Smiling, laughing, it's not always mean you are in the happy situation. Sometimes, and also tearing or crying is not always mean you are sad. Okay, this picture is the example of being tortured to death, or we can say this is kind of punishment or execution in the long ago. Let's see this picture. The same tickling, but different ways. In the picture, the government officer used the feather to tickle the victim or the crime, maybe. Chinese tickle torture, we call this Chinese tickle torture. It happened in Han Dynasty. It's an ancient form of torture practiced by the Chinese. In particular, the courts of Han Dynasty, Chinese tickle torture was a punishment for nobility since it left no marks and a victim could recover relatively easily and quickly. But some case, they might got too much tickle till death. How the tickling can cause the death? Can anyone just tell me the hint or just guessing?
Out of breath?
Out of breath?
Like suffocation from like, being too like energetic.
Yeah, suffocation. What else?
Being overstimulated.
Yeah. Too happy and die. Anyone? What else?
Just general exhaustion, I guess.
Exhausting can happen to everyone, but exhausting to death, it's something like we can use this as a torturing. You can see he was tied up. Okay, he cannot like resist. He cannot resist this punishment. That can cause the brain damage. When you inhale the more oxygen or too much oxygen, it will cause numb at the beginning, and then your vein go up and down. The brain wave is up and down, and your exhausting can cause the vein in the brain function, and it can cause you like a blood clot, and then your brain will be like just die slowly from the blood clot. Okay, and it's not only in the Chinese torturing. Tickling is also also the punishment or execution way from Rome and other European countries. And an article says in the British Medical Journal about European tortures describes a method of tickle torture in which a goat was compelled to lick the victim's feet because they had been dipped in salt water. Once the goat had licked the salt off, the victim's feet would be dipped in the salt water again and again. In the process would repeat itself. So, but if someone tickling and tickle is not happen and affect everyone, just some. You can ask yourself, you is kind of a baji person or not. If you are not, it might not affect you. They have to find some other ways to torture you or punish you. However, it remains unclear if this method was ever used in practice as it is only described in the 1502. Let's move to this. Also in the World War II, Nazis still use it. Also use it in the way of making a victim speak or release all the secret or to confess anything. Joseph cohort, a man persecuted in the Flossenbruck concentration camp during the World War II, allegedly witnessed Nazi prison guards perform physical torture on the fellow inmate, followed by various other tortures, which resulted in his death. Okay, you can see like many like it's not only China, it happens around the world, like using the kind of thing we might think it's fun, but actually it's not fun at all. It can cause the death. So when you guys see the kid, your niece, your nephew, or your sister, brother try to play like this, tickling with friends or his friend or her friends, tickle him, tease him in this way, it's leads to the permanent brain damage. This is so like dangerous. Just keep it in mind and like warn some people around you. It's not fun at all. Okay. And another question, do you think you can control all over your body?
No.
No. Why? Why?
Because there is like ANS,
Yeah.
autonomic nervous system, that like heart beating is
Uh-huh.
under our control.
Can we just ask, or we just, if we would like to die, can we just make the heart stop bleeding, not bleeding, beating?
No.
No.
If we hold our breath, can we suicide like that?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
I think because the brain sends the signal to breathe, it forces you to breathe. So you have to breathe.
Okay, so our body, our automatic like system force us to keep breathing, right?
Yes.
Okay, correct. The factor behind it is we are not a person alone control our body, but the brain does. Our brain, it's controlling all over our body, and we might find this word often in this class, ANS. ANS is the abbreviation of autonomic nervous system, which means the system certain body processes like blood pressure, the rate of breathing, the way we like hairs up when we like get cold, or when our face get pale when we like frightened by something. Okay, this is automatic system. The brain cause and push the body to appear like that. And outside factors, this is outside factor as economics, social factor, education. This is the all these factor we can call it determinism, can cause the crime or can affect. It's different from free will. the thing you saw in this slide, we can like call it outside factor. What about inside factors? Inside factor mean our mind, our memories, our experiences, our thought, the way we have the inspiration, motivation, or the memories. This is the inside factor that no scientist tools can measure it. Let's get back to the key of positive school, which was introduced in 19th century by Cesar Lombroso, as I said, Rafael Garofalo, and Enrico Ferri. These three we might call positive school, like Italian school, because they are all Italian. Okay, they are three. Or we have another word we call the holy three of criminology, positive school of criminology. They are three to like establish this school. The key idea behind this theory was to use scientific methods to understand criminality and crime. This theory believed that the behavior was caused by psychological or biological and social factors, which are out of our control. We have origin of trait theory, and Lombroso, he is the father of criminology, but in blanket positive school. But many books, like he might not be the first person who study criminology or who like going focus in depth on like how criminal or how the crime work or how the crime happens, but we give him the name of father of criminology because he was the first person who bring all the science and crime to study together. He's also is the who established the criminal atavism. Criminal atavism is the idea of delinquents manifest physical anomaly and that make them biologically and psychologically similar to our primitive ancestor. He believed that our violence by nature and our instinct by nature is like aggressive as our ancestor, like back like 10,000 years back, how human will behave or how human will play a role of aggression, or like we have no language to use how human communicate or how human get what they want in the past, during get back to 10,000 years ago. Okay, and this is how Lombroso like use his career path to describe the way criminal commit the crime. He focused on learning why they become criminal, because he's not only criminologist, he's also a medical doctor and a lawyer. So his work, his experiment, his research is to collect all the criminals score to measure it, how long, how thick, how deep the eye thought, and how the skin of criminal look like, how criminal appearance or physical different from the normal people who didn't or never commit the crime. This is his work. This is just like an example of the display of him in Turin, Italy, in the Museum of Criminal Anthropology. He knows well about the human body because he's a doctor, and he study about how the body, how the brain affect we can say it like this. he was the very first step bringing the scientific issue to study crime. Okay, this is also an example of the museum display. This is all the criminal school. And if we talk about eugenics, Francis Galton is the name you put it in mind, because he is the first one who study about the germ plasma and like how the individual have the mental, moral, or physical character differences. This is the trait theories in the term of biosocial and psychological views. The trait theories argue that the combination of personal traits and environmental factors lead to behavior patterns, which mean it's not only our personal traits can cause the crime, but it might work and sometimes have to work with the environment factors too, like inappropriate place to stay, abandoned parents, economics, poverty, many factors. But today's trait theories focus on biosocial theory more. In this picture, how you guys understand this like transformation or the word natural selection? Anyone?
Only the
survival.
one.
Okay, one by one.
You can go first, it's okay.
Any. Okay.
For me, it's like
Mhm.
only the better adapter will be the survivor.
Mhm.
In this case, the giraffe with longer neck will keep survive because the tree go up taller and taller.
Uh-huh. And if you have a short neck, you cannot reach the top of the tree, so you cannot
Yeah.
survive. Okay,
Yeah.
simply as that. Yes, it's correct actually. Can you give me like the example of natural selection that still have in human body, but you might think why it's still here, why it still exists, it's useless for today? Can you like explore your body and try to answer? Give me just interesting answer.
Your appendix.
Appendix? Yes, they used to have benefit. They used to have, but from now, no. But we still have it in everyone. What else?
Maybe toes.
Toes?
Toe. Yes.
Toes? You mean like feet, finger, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think it's not useful? You never use it at all?
I use it to like grab something on the floor.
Okay. Okay, all right. I think this is talented. Grab something on the floor. This is only beneficial of your toe for the
but I think it has like a benefit in walking.
walking, right?
I think it plays some roles in walking. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
What about if we have no fingers in the feet at all? We cannot go higher step. We cannot like, I think it's help us to balancing our weight to walk or to jump on the ground. I think toes are still not useless. It's still like useful. Anything, any action or any human body that no nothing good at all about them.
Can I say wisdom teeth?
Okay, wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth. In some case, it happened to be useful. You know, if you lost your tooth, and then it's like a spare inside. But not everyone they will grow up or put itself up in the right way. They always come in the wrong way, and we have to get rid of it. So it might correct. What else?
I think it's the urge to eat, consume as much calories as possible, like sugary food and fatty food.
So if we can cut this out, do you think it will benefit more for human being?
I mean, like nowadays we don't work out as much, we don't walk as much, we don't, yeah, so it would be better if we can curb our own impulses.
Okay, interesting. What about hiccup? Hiccup. Do you think it have benefit or not? You guys know hiccup?
I think hiccups do have benefit because it tells us that we have something stuck in our gut.
Actually, it's not. Hiccup is not something stuck in our gut. Suddenly we can just hiccup. And the way you stop the hiccuping, how you guys do it in your daily life, if you like this, how you can stop them?
Drink a lot of water.
A lot of water? How a lot? How much is
Hold
it?
your breath.
Hold your breath. For me, I see nothing useful having the hiccup. I still read about it. I still have no reason behind the hiccuping. And the back pain, like painful back pain, like back pain. It's not useful. I can give you just three main like unuseful, useless piece
But
of
I
human being.
guess the back pain is sometimes useful because it's like our body says we have worked too much, we use it too much, so we have to rest.
Okay,
to
so
recover.
they warn you, right? They warn you like,
Yeah.
hey, too much working, too much online studying, like this. Yeah, agree.
I think I have an interesting one.
Okay, go on.
It's male nipples. Because I think apart from being a sexual stimulation, they have no benefits, I guess.
Male nipples. Since you were born, you never use it, doing anything like good to life or have any special issue with it, aren't you? Male nipples. Interesting. I will find it out later. Interesting, and no one answered this answer before. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, biosocial theories of delinquency. We focus on the association between biology and environmental conditions, also an antisocial behavior. But put it in mind, we have three areas of biosocial theory. First is the biochemical factors. Second is neurological function. And the third one is genetic history. But today I might not go in deep about this because it's less like relate to the crime. But biochemical is play the main factors in making someone have the depression or like mental illness. It's all about those three areas or three factors that can cause you the mental illness. This one is the suspect relationship between antisocial behavior and biology makeup. For example, maternal alcohol abuse. If a mother consumes too much alcohol during the pregnancy period, it causes directly to the baby inside. And sometimes the hormonal level, such as like estrogen, testosterone, or the other chemical issue, can affect the baby inside. Let's talk about the drug substance abuse, like methamphetamine. This one I will give you as an example. Methamphetamine in the drug can cause the brain damage permanently for the baby who were born from the addicted mother. Even you stop using this drug in blanket methamphetamine, okay? Even you stop using this drug for 5 years or 7 years, you stop using it and then you get pregnant. The methamphetamine or the molecule in chemical still go inside part of your DNA. So even you stop using it like almost 10 years and you have a baby, you have a child, your DNA that has the methamphetamine chemical molecule can go hereditary to the baby, to your kids. So if at the exact age, like 15 or the teenager age, 15 to 17, suddenly your baby or your son, your daughter wants to try methamphetamine automatically. It's been like many years of this kind of research. When it comes to your DNA issue, it's never fixed. It cannot fix. It's not like alcohol or cigarette. It will not go like from mother to the baby, but substance abuse, it does. If we talk about neurofunction or neural dysfunction in human being, on the other hand, neurological disorders are not predictor of convictions for violent crime in men. Poor coping skills due to mental retardation may sometimes be misinterpreted to be an antisocial behavior caused by conduct disorder. As you can see, the brain size and neural count, human, it's not we are not the biggest brain in the world. Also, the African bush elephant, they didn't hold the record like biggest brain in the world. Can anyone answer me? What is the animal that hold the biggest brain size in the world?
The whale?
Yes, the whale. And do we and the whale can study like human or not? Like, can we communicate in some way? The whale has the biggest brain. How the size play roles in brain ability? I will give you the main reason why. Okay, do you guys see the highlight in the yellow here? This number of neurons, nucleus in our brain will affect how clever or how smart we are. We don't have to mind about the size at all. We focus on the neuron count here. Humans hold the most neuron in the world. Even our brain is smaller than the whale or smaller than the elephant. Who has the most close to us? The answer is gorilla. You can see the size and the weight of the gorilla and the elephant. Elephant has like almost 3 kilograms of brain weight, but the monkey, this one, is like just 300, almost 400. So far different, but the neuron count, it's so much, almost 2 times much than this one. So at first, like I can say like many 10,000 years ago, human being has the brain size close to this gorilla. Okay, I will remove all the highlight. Like 20,000 years ago, human being has our brain just 400 grams, close to this one, so much. 400. Human beings start with 400. And how we develop or evaluate to have like 3 times bigger here. From 400 to 1 kilo and 200 grams, how we develop our brain bigger, like so much bigger like this, while other animals can't do. Do you think why? Why only animal or only human can develop this? Why? Just guessing.
Evolution, like by their environment and their actions.
Can you give me example?
Like for example, before, like human are doing some crafting in the cave and then go out for a hunt. But other animals just live their life normally. So there are no learning through times. So they still the same as before. But for human, we still thinking and then learning something new since now.
Interesting. Any others? Any others?
It's evolution, but I think it's because like back in the days, like during the primitive era, people who were smarter were deemed more attractive. So therefore, as the years passed by, the brain size got bigger and bigger due to natural selection.
Due to natural selection.
Yeah.
It affects just part of it. It's like, yeah, that's the human nature who attract to good looking or the nice behavior, good skills. Yes, we attract to those perfect action that human can present themselves. But the main factor of having bigger brain, it's believe it or not, it's from sleeping. At first, human we will like the others animal. We have to prevent the poison animal, or we have to prevent ourselves from insect at night. So when we are going to sleep, we have to climb to the top of the tree, and we build the nest like the gorilla do. Almost the same. Every like primate has to build the nest to rest and sleep, to raise the baby. So when humans sleep on the top of the tree, we could not sleep like continuously long. Maximum we can sleep like 1 or 2 hours maximum, because if you move in the wrong direction, you can fall off, you can fall from the tree, and then you die. So the brain will not develop if you still awake, or you are not in the deep sleep mode. And how human can sleep longer? What caused it? The the innovation of finding fire. When human discover fire, like when we can make the fire, or the flame, we can learn how to cook by the flame, we can make it warm. So human move from the tree to the ground. The brain system and the development of brain develop when humans start living on the ground. When we start living on the ground, we can sleep longer, like 4 hours, 6 hours, until 8 hours. And the human make the shift like this, have to be half of, like we have the group of people gathering together as a social animal. Half of them will stay awake at night, and half of them will sleep at night, and they shift it together. That's how human can sleep longer, and this is the main reason the our brain developed is like increasingly like developed, not others animal. Only human can do this. And what about human brain? We study about like juvenile and delinquency. So we are focusing on teenager, how the teenager brain works. As you see in the picture, like a sushi one, the left one, it's 22 weeks brain for in the baby. Have you ever thought why teenager always cause the problem or get involved with the crime? Have you ever thought why?
I have read an article.
Mhm.
It say that the teenager brains, like the prefrontal cortex
Yes.
that used in like critical thinking,
Yes.
is not developed. Is not like completely developed.
Yes, exactly. It's correct. Um, Actually, by nature, our brain will develop from the back to the front. And the back is control the way we walk, the balancing, and how we see the world. But the critical thinking is in the front text. So teenager is the age of the brain. Prefrontal cortex is still developing. It's in the process. It's not completely like done. So your answer was correct. And why teenager cause problem and involve the crime? Because the prefrontal cortex is still developing, yet teenager might rely on a part of the brain called the amygdala. The amygdala, which make decision and solve problems more than adults do, they rely on that part of brain. Amygdala is associated with emotion, impulses, aggression, and instinctive behavior like violence, aggressive, hot temper. You get what you want this, you need that. It's all the teenager's brain. I am showing you guys the difference between the normal brain scan and the psychopath scanning from MRI. You can see the black spot or the dark part in psychopath side. This is the explanation how your brain is working or not. The colorful color you can see from the brain like active. The yellow, the red, the green, the blue is show us how the brain active. But the black one, the black hole or the black spot like show us this brain is not function, it's not activate. So if we compare these two together, we can see the obvious difference between them. They have many parts on the right side. They have many parts which is not working at all. It's all turned dark. It's not active, which means the brain function from psychopath side is not working as it must. We can say it's like dysfunction. The brain dysfunction can cause this MRI scan type. Okay, let's move to neural dysfunction. We have many like disease like how brain can make the crime prone, ADHD. What is ADHD? What is LD or also theory? I will give you example about ADHD. It's the abbreviation of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or you can say it's hyper. Recent meta-analysis have found that men with childhood ADHD have 2 or 3 times greater risk of being arrested, convicted, incarcerated in adulthood compared to their counterparts without ADHD. Some researchers have asserted the rate of ADHD in prison population may be as high as 50%. You think why that? Do you think the brain damage mainly caused the crime in teenager or not? It's like we have no completely like developing brain in the some case of crime offenders. The reason behind it is children with ADHD have trouble sustaining attention. They are overly active and they may act impulsively. What's more, they may act aggressive, angry, and defiant. But parents and teachers can manage this aggression without relying solely on medication. But the most important is some family or some parents, they don't care and they don't find it like problems when their children cause the problem. Some family they like support that act and not like showing them like this is not the wrong way to deal with emotional character. This is the slide that show you like the part of the brain that involved with emotions, impulses, aggression, and instinctive behavior. We call this brain the biggest one, or the the white one, the white color. We call it in the frontal is about analysis thinking. You can see it on the green color. We call this one is cerebrum part, and the white one we call it cerebellum, and the pink one we call it like brain stem. This one, this is the frontal part, about analyze thinking. This one, it's about emotion. So teenager relies on the back of the brain more than in the frontal. This is symptoms of ADHD. Like we have like three symptoms. At first, lack of attention, as the list you have seen, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. ADHD is the most consistent document, shows us like biological correlate of delinquency as autonomic hyperactivity or an under aroused system marked by low resting heart rate, or we can call it HR. How HR play an important role in this function? This one is a RHR in each period of life. Do you think yourself stay in which stage? Adult or children?
Children.
Children?
I think children.
Children? Might correct. Depends on which standard you will use to describe yourself, because if you talk about teenager from Thai definition, it might different from the European definition. But about juvenile, it's not over 18. If you are not over 18, you still are the juvenile. Okay, HR, resting heart rate. The biology of crime, low heart rate may predict a criminal behavior. Study says, a new study says that 18-year-old men who had low resting heart rate were up to 49% more likely than their peers to become violent criminals. This understanding could lead us to build the polygraph, or you might know as a lie detector. Have you ever heard about lie detector? We call it a polygraph. Polygraph which used in the investigation, or we use in the crime investigate. But we cannot say it's 100% reliable to tell us who is lying or not. It's just help us to differentiate between the one who speaks something is not like that, not cause the anxiety in their emotion. But this polygraph, they will measure our heart rate, our brain waves, our sweat in our hand, sweat per minute. So any evidence by the polygraph could help us to describe this person it's worry or still in anxiety, emotional, while others who feel normal, who didn't commit the crime or know nothing about the crime, when they are in the polygraph machine, we can speak freely, normal, and heart rate beating is not always tell us like who is lying or not, because when you are excited or you are like feel nervous, your RHR can be like different from the normal average. In short, the polygraph test record a number of different bodily responses, which can then be used to determine whether someone is telling the truth or not. They usually measure things like blood pressure, change in the person's breathing, and sweating on the palm and the feet. Arousal theory. At the center of this theory lies the fact that sensation seekers are more biologically and environmentally prone to engage in deviant activities and to take illicit drugs. According to research done by Miles 2001, sensation seeking is a great predictor of drug use and abuse because those who are sensation seekers also tend to be risk takers. According to this theory, obtaining thrill and demonstration of competence are the main crime motivators. Okay. Do you need a break?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will give you 15 minutes break, okay? We can get back in at 2 p.m. and 35. Okay, you can have a break now. Let's get back in 15 minutes.
Jack, I have a suggestion. So, like after the break, if we have any more like question sessions, can we do like raise our hands instead? Because I think a lot of us are like fighting for the microphone.
Good idea, because I saw you the echo of your answering like yeah this one. So I don't know who is answering. It's good idea after the break. If anyone wants to answer, just raise the hand and speak. After you speaking, you can type your number in the chat. Okay, better.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right, so let's get back to the class. Uh, okay, now we will start talking about the genetic influences. Um, it's consists of three approaches to test the association. First is parental deviance. Second is twin studies, and third is adoption studies. So antisocial behavior is inherited. So I would like to introduce you to the three main factors of this school of thought. Psychological theories of delinquency, in which the Sigmund Freud, who held the theory. Okay, this one. The psychological perspective of this thought consists of psychodynamic theories, and this name is we can say it's like the signature of Sigmund Freud, the psychologist. He's also a criminologist who established this theory. And psychodynamic theory you will find in almost every like books if you start learning or studying about the psychology as a basis. And we also can call psychoanalysis, psychodynamic, and psychoanalytic theory. They are all the same, but different names. Second one is behavioral theory, and the third one is cognitive theory. And I would go in depth in for the first one, psychodynamic theory, which consists of three steps of our conscious. First one, it's ID, or we can call it it. Second one is ego, and the third one is superego. So let's go to the details about each one. It, or ID, it's meeting basic needs. The ID is the most basic part of the personality. It also represents our most animalistic urge, like the desire for food or for sex. The ID seeks instant gratification of our wants and needs. If these needs or wants are not met, a person can become tense, anxious, or angry. So we can say is ID is like human instinct. We might have the violation or aggression included. The second one, ego. Ego dealing with the reality. The ego deals with the reality, trying to meet the desires of the ID in a way that is socially acceptable in the world or in our culture, our norm. This may mean delaying gratification and helping to get rid of the tension that the ID feels if a desire is not met right away. The ego recognizes that other people have needs or and wants to, and being selfish is it not good in the long run. The last one, superego. So we adding more morals in it. The superego develops last, and it it is based on moral and judgments about right and wrong, even even though the superego and the ego may reach the same decision about something. The superego's reason for that decision is based more on moral values, while the ego's decision is based more on what others will think or what the consequences consequences of an action could be on the individual. So to be more easier to explain, if we cannot control our ID, so the action we represent will be like more violent or animalistic than if we are control ourselves within the social frame, like can accept our behavior in this way or not. For instance, Sarah knew he could steal the supply or could steal some money from work and no one would know about it. However, she knew that stealing was wrong, and so she decided not to take anything, even though she would probably never get caught. We call it like superego, social acceptable in our action or not. So Sarah is developing her conscious and her recognize about how the social or how other will look at her and judge her personality or her actions. This picture will show you the activities of conscious brain and unconscious brain. We might think that when we are awake now, you guys now are sitting in front of the laptop, listening to me lecturing, but actually it's just 5% of brain activity when you are awake. We call it conscious state. But while we sleep, the unconscious play more roles in the brain activities as like 95%. That's why our human brain develop while we sleep. Because when we are awake, we use just 5% of brain activities. Okay, this is the picture might give you more understanding about thing I just have said about psychoanalytic or psychoanalysis, psychodynamic theory just now about instincts, reality, and morality. I wish this can give you more understanding. What about human instinct, or we call survival response? Everyone, including me, we have just 3 steps of respond to something like threaten us, just 3 states. We have no others. Okay, first one is freeze, second one is fight, the last one is flight. When we feel like the dangerous is coming to us or the situation is not safe, our human instinct will respond in this one of 3 stage. We might get shocked, we cannot walk, we will freeze ourselves, like our body cannot move at all. We call it freeze. In the situation like the brain decide to hide yourself from the dangerousness. The second one, fight, when the brain decide to attack something like is coming to us to attack us, so we attack it back. Like when your friend hit you or slap your shoulder and suddenly you slap them back automatically because our human instinct fight it back. The last one, flight, for escape from any dangerous situation. For instance, you have phobia about the dog bites or something. When the dog is running to you, you feel like nervous, you feel scared, so you choose to escape from the situation by running away from that dog. This is one of the human instinct, like we use to survive and respond the dangerousness in our life, daily life. The fight, flight, freeze response in your body's natural reaction to danger. It's a type of stress response that helps you react to perceived threats, like an oncoming car or insanity dog who's running to you. Your body's freeze, fight, and flight response is triggered by psychological fears. It's a built-in defense mechanism that causes psychological change, like rapid heart rate and reduced perception of pain. This enables you to quickly protect yourself from a perceived threat. Also, freeze, fight, and flight is not a conscious decision. It's an automatic reaction, so you cannot control it. All those things I have said, it's the basic understanding about behavioral theory or cognitive theory, which means this study concern the observable behavior rather than unconscious processes, focuses on particular stimuli and responses to them. For example, kids learn anything around them through reward and punishment. If you do this, you will get in trouble or not. This one is good, this one is bad. It's kind of social learning. Also, cognitive theory, they study and aim to make the understanding perceptions of reality and the mental process required to understand the world we lived in, so our action will fit to this situation or not. So we use the cognitive thinking. Personality and delinquency. Personality, it's the English word who has the root word from the Latin persona. Persona, which means mask, which we can change. Do you think like we can change our personality or not? Any answer?
Yes.
How can we change our personality? You can raise your hands up. Okay. Puttipong first. Go on.
The question is, can we change our personality, right?
Yes.
I think we can change our personality because as we are growing up every day and we experience a lot of things, and we also expose ourselves to like different environments, and I feel like these kind of things also play like the factors affecting our personality. Yeah.
So you means like we can learn everyday life from having experiences in this situation, and that can shape our personality or can change it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good answer. What about ธัญมาศ ทิพย์แก้วครับ
So I agree with Pudipong that like personality, it builds on like childhood, like with both inner and outside experiences. But I also like to add that personality, like a lot of it's also like a side to oneself, kind of like from the root word of persona, like the masks that we use, these masks to like talk to like different people, talk to different people with different types of personalities and how we interact with them as well. Like how we interact with our friends would be different from interacting with our teacher, kind of that.
All right. So the set of words, the group of words we use could be different, right?
It could be, yeah, it could be different from like different people as we like present ourselves with different people around us.
Okay, I got your answer. So it means like, have you ever like switched in the wrong type of personality and talk in the with a person with the wrong personality?
It could happen like in a different circumstance. You kind of some can like cannot read the room of what's going on. That can also be a thing. Yeah.
Okay, good answer. Ko Boon Palma, go on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think we can change our personality because it's come from outside factor too, so we can control that like some kind of practice, so we can force ourselves to be or behave in a certain way.
Yeah. All right. What about Saranya?
Actually, Gobon just said what I think, but I want to add on that I really believe that we can become if we want to have better personality, we can just practice until we it's become our nature.
So you mean like we are all can change our personality, right?
Yes.
What if, okay, this is new question for anyone who still like wants to answer for the marks. Another question is, what if we have a problem with the brain function? Can we still change our personality? Our brain is not normal. It might like inactive in some part. Rasita ครับ
I think that we could fake it well enough.
You can what? Fake it?
Yeah, like fake.
Can you put a microphone like closer?
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's a matter of the person's ability to act and fake their own persona.
Actually it's Jess and what Shara ครับ
So like in my opinion, I think that like those who have like disabilities can change their personality like by practicing, but in terms of like to fully adapt and get used to it can be difficult because you know they have like a problem in their brain. So like I think like sometimes they might accidentally like you know interfere with the brain condition. So like sometimes they just do it by accident without realizing, but like I think they can change, but yeah, it takes time to practice and it wouldn't like be fully permanent.
All right. What about จิราวัลย์ ครับ
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go on.
Well, I also agree with friends that they say that personality can be changed, but if our brain cannot function properly, so maybe I think it cannot change 100%, because if people that person have the brain problem and they just don't care about the outside environment, outside things, so they might don't care about it. I don't know, that's my opinion. So they might just stay the same and just do whatever they want. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my opinion.
Thank you for the answer. What about there's just you just put your hand down. Saranya, you have anything else? ครับ You still raise your hand.
Maybe I
Yes.
think if there's a problem in the brain, I think maybe sometimes it's inevitable. Like we cannot resist our behavior. Like I have heard a case where the murderer, they have like a tumor in the brain, which caused them to be more aggressive.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes, like a disease called mental illness, we call like, for example, antisocial personality. This must begin at a very first, very young age. And when your brain is damaged, so when you grow up and you detect yourself, this is wrong, there's something wrong with your personality, it might be too late to fix it. So prevention is better than fixing it. You can highlight this one, put it in your mind. Personality is so sensitive and fragile. If you cannot it's a disease kind of, this mental illness is difficult to fix and almost impossible to fix. Even you use the medical treatment, you use the environment treatment, you kind of change the way of thinking, it's very hard to change the personality, because when it becomes personality, it's like the part of you. It's not just the behavior temporarily, it's you, it's become part of you. All right, so okay, this 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 graphic show you the four types of behavior or personality, which you may I think you guys mostly know it, like have heard about it before. I think yes. Introvert, extrovert, like who is the introvert person, I'm not extrovert, blah blah blah. This is kind of four types of personality, which didn't play like, it's not exactly like this for everyone, it's just like average, or tend to be like this if you choose one or two from this. um, okay, personality and delinquency, how it's like come together, how it's caused the problem. Psychopathic personality, it's also a aka sociopathic or antisocial personality. It's all the same. Okay, it's a person who lack of empathy, and this this kind of mental illness, they will not find themselves sick or ill. They will think like everyone around them uh, will never understand them. They will see themselves normal, but actually they are not. So psychopathic personality is difficult to lead or to guide them, like you are not okay with this behavior, this behavior is unacceptable. It's difficult to teach or to advise them if they are in this situation. So as I said, prevention is more important than the fixing it. Antisocial behavior is characterized by aggressions, um, hostility, deceitfulness, and defense. This is the movie poster that I am convincing you guys to try out this one. It's they put all the behaviors of antisocial person together in one character. The name in English name is, if I remember it right, it's the Orphan movie, and the Thai name is Dek Pret, and the name is tell itself how it's will going to be in the movie. This is recommended movie to study if you want to know like which one is the character of antisocial behavior person. This movie will answer you all the questions. Hyperactivity and neurological problems. At first, you have to make yourself clear about hyperactivity. Hyper, it's a symptom, but it's not always a disease or mental illness. Some genius person can have the hyperactivity personality. So you have to differentiate between these two. Okay, but if you have disorder, it has been found to be at a higher risk of developing antisocial behavior. It's just the higher risk, but it's not always exactly you will turn out to be antisocial behavior. As I said, hyperactivity is just kind of symptom of behavior everyone might have in some time. And this is an interesting psychosexual stage of development from Sigmund Freud. Okay, we call it the Oedipal complex. The Oedipal complex is a stage that a boy try to imitate his father to get his mother attention. But if it's happened to a girl, we will call it the Electra complex. This exactly the same, but we use in the term of different gender. If the boy has this situation or circumstance, we will call it Oedipus or Oedipus or Oedipal complex. But if it happens to a girl terms, we will use the name to describe this behavior like Electra. And it's not abnormal, it's normal and natural sexual state of development. It can and it must happen with everyone. As the name Oedipus is like a legend. I think if I remember it right, it's a Greek or it should be Greek story about the god or about the Oedipus family who killed his own father and marry his own mother. So if you are interested to the more explanation or the details about the story, you can find it out on any internet source. Okay, intelligence and delinquency. Do you guys have any thought or any comment about nature or nurture in human? Anyone? What are the differences between nature or nurture? No one?
Nature is something we are born with, but nurture is something that develop along the way that we are growing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. And I would like to know if we can change our nature or not.
I don't think so. Or maybe gene editing.
Some genetic makeup we can change it, like the hair color or the eyes color, but the intelligence is like a gift or inherited. But the intelligence in some part, I mean, like when we study or when a person can become a medical doctor or a person can become engineer, it's my because of nature or nurture. We cannot know, but delinquents believe to be substandard in intelligence and so inclined to commit more crimes. We in this school of thought we make it two types of theories. So they believe in nature and nature can cause the crime. If its nature is about the genetic stuff, a genetic issue like biochemical and physical appearance you got from your parents or ancestor, but the nurture is like environment, economics, socialization can cause you to commit the crime. Like if you were born in the poverty area, and there are lots of crime around you. So maybe you learn to commit crime from your environmental situation. But in some way, a person who might grown up in the good area, good family, but their nature, genetic nature, is not normal, or it has like damages in some part in the brain, or in the some some hormonal, some any issue like going on in your brain, so it will turn you out to be a criminal, even you are surrounded by the good family or good environment. Okay, so this is the brief, the short one, to explain how different between the nature and nurture debate, the genetic or the experiences can shape you to be a person yourself. So our brain can weigh like is nature or nurture. How can we express our behavior to appear in the society? So it's not always be a sick or mental illness person to commit a crime. Sometimes they are normal. They are normal, no, physical, like strong, normal. The human body is completely like absolutely fine, but they decide to commit the crime. It's not about something wrong in their body or in their brain or in their mind. It's about outside factor that can force them in a way to cause the crime, to start doing the crime. Maybe in some case they just want to survive. That's it. Some situation force them to do the crime, especially in the poverty. They had a lot of crimes happen because they just need to survive. Okay, so we have prevention efforts should be directed at the strengthening at the youth home life. This program we have the name we call as PEIP, or prenatal early infancy project, the best known home visitation programs in America. This program is a program of pregnancy and infancy nurse home visitation from families at social risk because of the mother's young age or single parent status or poverty. This program will directly help people in this situation. The program is sought to prevent a number of maternal and child health problems that emerge early in the life cycle, and that might be prevented with improvements in prenatal health habits, care of the child, and the psychosocial context of the family. The nurses carry out three major activities as mentioned. First is the parents' education regarding influences on fetal or infant's development. To be easier speaking, it's the mother's own education, give them employment or the family planning to help them to figure it out the problems. The second one is the involvement of the family members and friends in the pregnancy, birth, early care, and of the child. And the last one, the linkage of within the family members with other health and human services. Can anyone suggest me any type program that help this kind of issue, which like department could give us a hand or can solve this problem, this kind of problem of? Do you have any idea about the government support in this country? Anyone? Foundation or anything that you have heard before?
What about มูลนิธิปวีณาหงสกุลครับ
Yes, exactly like that. Can you explain more about this foundation?
I know that they help children who have gone through like some sort of mental illness and I don't know, maybe rape or something else. I don't know.
Yes, it's kind of like that. But in our country, this kind of help, it might not like emerge like exactly obviously like what they are doing in the department. Like as I worked as a police officer before, มูลนิธิกระจกเงา Mirror Foundation. It's help us finding a missing person. But actually, our government have a special department which I used to contact them. I cannot contact I cannot contact them because it's like just the name exists, but in action the private foundation or like SE Foundation might work exactly fit what we want more. So any idea or any comment about how you can help this kind of problem, how we can fix it in our society? Anyone wants to give the solution to prevent the delinquency? Any? Okay, พุทธิพงศ์ครับ
I think one of the solutions that we can actually apply to help this kind of situation is that I feel like people who are in power or like people who are, I mean, the government, for example, should pay more attention to this kind of problems because I feel like every time we see like news on televisions about children or any kind of delinquencies, like we also can be able to notice that these problems are going unnoticed and undetected. So I feel like if government establish some sort of organizations or department to specifically help these kind of situations or problems, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah, agree with you. And what about the pregnancy in the young age? Do you think it affects this all kind of problems or not? Young mother.
I think obviously I think young mothers problems also affect this kind of thing because a lot of young mothers, they do not have enough experience of taking care of children, or maybe they lack of like young people always, I mean, have little experience about taking care of children or teaching children to be good or better in the society. And sometimes when they cannot perform the motherhood duties good enough, it will lead to problems in children.
Yes, exactly.
What
you
in
said.
the future will be doing some sort of delinquencies.
So you think that if they have knowledge about their own body or their own life, what about we teach about sex education in the school, or how to protect to giving unwanted birth can help this problem?
I think yes, of course, because sometimes children or baby are born with unwanted decisions, and if Thai education systems or any departments involved with this can actually educate young children about how to prevent themselves from getting pregnant, or teach young kids about protection using condoms and all that, I think it'd be better, because if children actually know about this thing, it will of course be able to help them to prevent, pregnancy at a young age.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like that's also a very hard thing to accomplish, especially in Thailand, where we have a lot of weird norms and weird, customs where sex should not be talked in public.
Yeah.
So I think we can do that, but it's hard, especially in this society.
I agree with you, but the main reason the problem still like emerge around our life and in every era, because of the norm or the culture, the structure of society in Thailand. I think it's a play the main role for causing this problem, because our weird norm, as you said, our weird like culture, like we cannot talk about sex, we cannot do something, we cannot do the way we dress, and has to be fixed in this situation, in this event. Anything is like no reason behind it. I think they might have reason before, but in this century we cannot use this conservative idea of living life anymore. And about marriage and about marrying someone at the exact age, it's not about the age, it's about the other things, other factors, like your money, your accommodation, your family acceptable or not. It's not about age, like we have taught since we were young. I think school might play the important part of giving this kind of knowledge about how to prevent or stay away from the substance abuse, or how to get yourself together when you find yourself or likely to have a mental illness. As I know, in Thai school, they don't have the psychologist in the school. They might have in some school, but it must be in every school, because in state of life, being a teenager is the most dangerous, like direction, where like we can turn left, we can turn right, we can do something wrong, and something we might do it by mistake can lead us like to the wrong permanently direction. If we have consult or a psychologist or a teacher who has knowledge about how to talk in the psychology way, or to take care of the student, it might benefit more and might solve the and reduce the problems. So today we have talked about the factors that relies on the biochemical and psychology stuff to cause the crime. I hope you guys get like some knowledge and interesting, maybe new interesting career path in the future. And that's is the end of the lecture today. I will give you back to อาจารย์อุนิสาครับ
Okay. Thank you so much, Ajahn Trin, Ajahn Tony, for your giving us the really informative lecture. Okay, and also thank you everyone for your productive participation. We have really good discussion today. Listening to your lecture and your participation, and this is very good class today. You guys like actively participate in this his Dr. Twin lecture, and yeah, this is very good class. Okay, and you guys have any more questions to ask Ajahn Tony about this lecture or anything about our class today? Okay, like I mentioned
It's like
earlier.
everyone like want to like, okay, enough study, online study.
Yeah, I know that we have to, Okay, so once again, thank you, Ajahn Tony, for your giving us a special lecture, and we have learned a lot from your lecture. Okay, any more questions?
Thanks to you guys, and thank you to Ajahn Unisa for inviting me for this lecture. I am so honored to be here with you and all the students. And thank you for you guys for the all participation and attention. I hope you get something good, to get something useful to use in your life. Thank you. Yeah, I am glad.
Okay. Okay, so if no further questions, just class will be dismissed for today, and see you guys next Thursday. Okay, have a good weekend นะคะ
Thank you.
Thank you
both.
Thank
Have a nice day
ขอบ
ค่ะ
คุณค่ะ
You're welcome. You are
Thank
welcome,
you.
everyone.
Thank you ค่ะ